from filmfestivalcircuit.com and the director of the Oregon Short Film Festival. We have an event coming up at the Clinton Street Theater, the Oregon Short Film Festival Fall 2022, which takes place on October the 14th. We're very excited to be back at Clinton Street, showing all kinds of films, from drama to documentary to animated to music videos to TV pilots and all kinds of things that are 30 minutes or less. And we also have the horror genre, and we have a film called My Mind is on Fire, which has also been nominated for an award. We'll get into that. But here is director Michael Angier. Hey, Michael.
Howdy, howdy. Thanks a ton for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me. And, hey, we just appreciate you. We appreciate, the hard work that you put into this film. And we also appreciate Allison Walker, who was nominated for the Best Acting Performance Award. So you're going to have to pass on a big congrats to that.
Absolutely.
So, before I give it away, can you give us the synopsis of My Mind is on Fire, please?
Of course. The way that I've been saying it is April, our main character, is having a serene weekend until a mysterious object shows up in her garden to kind of interrupt that. And that's about as far as I can go.
All right. Yeah, that sets it up pretty good. I would have blabbed out the ending myself. So good job restraining yourself. We're gonna have to let the viewers decide what's going on there. So, you put a lot of work. You have a very distinct isn't the good word, but you're very stylistic in your cinematography. The way you cut this together, very, very cool. And I know limited actors, obviously, you wanted to turn this into kind of a, from the outside looking in, it just looked like a real mind warp, like this is, someone really questioning, like, is all this stuff happening, and what was the motivation for creating this specific story in this specific film?
Well, the motivation initially was just kind of a technical practice. I wanted to push myself a little bit further than I have with any other short films. I was like, oh, maybe we can try this thing, some really random, like, kind of obstacles for me to climb over. I just wanted to see what I could do with that. But then as it kind of progressed and the script kept developing, I realized more and more that it was touching on something a bit deeper than just a technical practice. And so that's what really drove me to make it happen, get people involved.
All right, good one. Well, during the production of this, did you learn anything in particular?
I learned that, and this is something I already knew, but I've learned that every single part of the production you have to practice beforehand, including the fake blood. That was kind of a tough one on this for some reason. I've done it before, but it just kind of didn't work too well. But we didn't have a bunch of props. We didn't have like extras on extras of props and stuff like that. We didn't have a ton of daylight at the time that we were shooting that scene. And so it was just kind of good enough. Let's move on. So yeah. But another positive that I took away from that was in the time since being on set for that film, I've been working as a video marketing videography with a firm in town here, and we use all sorts of lights all the time, tons of lights on set, get it in there, blast it with light. And I keep thinking back, and I keep looking back at the film thinking, oh, what could I have done differently here? Like, what more light could I have introduced to the scene? But the more I look back at it and the more I think about that, I think, well, maybe the less, the better, especially in this case. And I just think it really suited the story, and I'm proud of my relatively inexperienced self for realizing that on set. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Definitely very, very different things you're trying to accomplish in the corporate world. Yeah, every shadow on the planet is vanished, and if you notice on all those fast food commercials, when you pull into Sonic or McDonald's, the entire parking lot is wet for some reason. But
Yeah.
you'll notice that when you watch enough commercials, and I've been on enough to know that they sit there and wet the ground over and over and over, if that's doing something to help sell burgers. But anyway, very interesting background you have. What do you have planned for the future?
Well, for the immediate future, I have kind of this atmospheric mood piece about a skateboarder wrangling with essentially uh, unfinished business with his
Mm.
father. So that's it's going to be kind of a fun little short practice film to stay sharp. But then after that, my partner and I are going to be making this 1925 spiritualism era film that's going to be really dark and moody, and that one's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be kind of the biggest project that I've ever taken on. So
Mm.
that's scary and very exciting, and I'm excited to kind of sink my teeth into something a little bit more meaty, for lack of better terms.
All right. Well, that sounds cool, though. Is there anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Well, two things. First of which is you never know where you're going to get inspiration for your film. I biked home one day and I looked over to my right and I saw this little porcelain orb in a free box, and I thought that's going to be in a film. So I took it home, and that really truly is what kicked off this whole film. So thanks, little orb. Thanks, Freebox. I still have to go to that house and just find out whose it was and be like, guess what? Your orb is famous. Anyways. But number two is a massive thank you to you, Michael, and everybody involved in judging the films and putting the event on. It is an incredible honor to have a spotlight at all at this stage of being an artist, of being a filmmaker, just trying to get, you know, our voices out there, and you guys are the loud phone, and it's massively appreciated.
Thank you so much. And there's one thing I forgot to talk about, and I appreciate the kind words. The judges, they at the same time as everyone else, like a filmmaker, they want to know that the films that we're picking are resonating with the audience. We're a live event, not a virtual event. So you sit there, an out of body experience in the theater watching your film up on that screen, and the judges are the same way. They want to know that what they've been picking, what they've been putting up there, is entertaining the crowd. And you make us look good. This is a very well done film. I've even seen some screen tests, and it's going to be great in the theater, and it's going to be a fun thing to show. So I appreciate your hard work in this film. The one thing I did want to ask you about, which I just totally forgot, was about your casting process, because Allison was so good in this. Can you talk about how you found her and just how that all went?
Yeah, she was a mutual friend. Well, I had a friend who took some photos of her at a portrait slam. It's just kind of where a bunch of models and a bunch of photographers get together and they all just kind of mingle, network, take photos. Seems like a great time. But yeah, he met her there. And then I knew that she was an actor. She's very serious about acting. She has since moved down to LA to pursue that career. And honestly, I'm sure she's doing incredibly well because she, as you can tell, is super talented. And I was blown away when I had her on set. There's this one moment. This is one of the moments that I don't love to give away, but with no context, maybe it'll be fine. There's a moment in the film where she screams at another character, and on set I was like, okay, well, this is the scream moment. Pretend you're screaming, but maybe don't actually scream, just because we didn't put any warnings up in the neighborhood or anything like that. It was just kind of like, we'll ADR it, it'll be fine. She was like, I'm gonna scream. And I was like, okay, cool. And I figured we were gonna like have to replace the scream anyway, just to kind of like beef it up, make it very specifically that scream, this, that, the other. I just totally wrote off in my mind like, we're not going to use this scream. And she, we hit record, and we call action, and when she screams, just like everybody on set got chills. It was so bone chilling, and it was perfect. And I ended up using that exact same scream in the film, and yeah, incredible. And that's just like a tiny, tiny little bit of what she displays in that film. And I couldn't be happier with her performance and her as a human being. She's a super great person, so great to work with. So hey, if you're looking for somebody down in the LA area or elsewhere, she is a great choice. I will vouch for her.
Excellent. Well, hey, I appreciate your transparency and telling us all about this, and it really just came together and is a great package. So we look forward to screening it, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you, Michael. Have a good one.